Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we're really trying to pull out the key insights from the sources you share. Today, we're looking at a prediction that honestly sounds almost unbelievable. Imagine this. Bitcoin hitting $21 million per coin by the year 2046. And the guy is saying this. Michael Saylor, founder of Strategy, he claims it's down to massive adoption nobody guessed.
Yeah, it's a huge number.
Yeah.
Especially from Saylor, who, he's always been bullish, right? So our goal today is really to unpack why he thinks this. What are these, unforeseen forces he's talking about? We'll dig into the surprising geopolitical stuff, the regulatory shifts he mentioned, and then maybe pivot a bit to the philosophical side. The debates his own company's actions have kind of sparked in the Bitcoin world.
Okay, great setup. It feels like this isn't just about a price target. It's more about understanding these big currents shaping digital assets and, what it all means for anyone paying attention. So let's start with that number, $21 million. Where did he say this and what exactly was the quote?
Right, so he dropped this at the BTC Prague 2025 event. This was just this past Saturday, June 21st. And he was pretty direct. He said, I think we're going to be $21 million in 21 years. He added, it's a very special time in the network, maybe the one time in the history of the network where you look out 21 years and you see $21 million.
21 million in 21 years. It definitely has a ring to it. But the really striking thing, I think, is how much higher this is than before. Wasn't he saying something different just last year?
Exactly. That's what makes it so interesting. Last year, at Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville, his prediction was $13 million by 2045. So this new $21 million figure is, well, it's an $8 million jump. And he's expecting it a year sooner. It's a massive increase.
A huge leap. And just for context for everyone listening, what was Bitcoin's price around the time he said this?
At the conference, Bitcoin was trading around, $102,951. So yeah, quite a distance to $21 million.
Okay, so it's not just a minor adjustment. It's a serious upgrade to his outlook. Why the big change now? What's this massive adoption nobody guessed that he keeps mentioning?
Well, that's the core of it. He claims that things have happened in just the last 11 months. Geopolitical things, regulatory developments, adoption trends that nobody saw coming. He specifically said, stuff that's happened in the past 11 months has been extraordinary.
Extraordinary. Okay, what specific things did he point to that were so unanticipated, especially on the political front? That sounds like a big shift.
Yeah, he really leaned into the political angle. He said, and this is the direct quote, the White House has embraced Bitcoin. He called it an extraordinary development and something that was not anticipated. He linked this shift pretty directly to Donald Trump winning the presidency last November, saying it brought a sea change in politics.
Embraced Bitcoin. And he expanded on that.
He did. He said, although we thought we might have a pro-Bitcoin president, we didn't think we'd get a strategic Bitcoin reserve.
Whoa, hang on. A strategic Bitcoin reserve, what does that even mean in practice? Like the U.S. government holding Bitcoin?
That seems to be the implication. Holding it potentially like gold or other reserves, it would be a massive validation, wouldn't it? He also added, we didn't think that the president would say America would be the Bitcoin superpower of the world. This is an amazing development.
A Bitcoin superpower? Okay. It's worth remembering, though, Saylor's always been bullish, even when Bitcoin crashed hard, right? Down to $16,000 during that crypto winter.
Oh, absolutely. He's been consistent.
Yeah.
But it seems like these specific political developments, in his view, represent a whole new level of maybe institutional acceptance that wasn't really on the radar even a year ago.
Interesting. So beyond the White House comments, did he mention other shifts like regulatory or legislative things?
Yes, he did. He pointed to momentum building in the U.S. Congress, specifically highlighting 3 crypto-related bills making progress. There's the Genius Act, which focuses on stablecoins, then the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act that one's about, clarifying rules for digital assets, and finally something called the Bitcoin Act. So a real push for clearer rules across the board.
Okay, 3 bills. That does sound like significant movement.
Yeah, and he also noted that states in the United States are embracing Bitcoin. Again, framing it as something unexpected, something nobody guessed, no one conceived of a year ago.
So for Saylor, these aren't just small steps, they're game changers that fundamentally alter Bitcoin's trajectory. And his company, Strategy, they're putting their money where their mouth is, right? They keep buying more Bitcoin.
They absolutely are. It ties right into his forecast. Strategy, it used to be, MicroStrategy, remember, keeps aggressively buying BTC. Just last week, another $1 billion worth. Think about that. As of mid-June 2025, their holdings were 592,100 BTC, just a staggering amount.
Incredible. But this buying spree, it also brought up some controversy, didn't it, about how they actually hold all that Bitcoin?
Exactly. That's where things get a bit contentious within the Bitcoin community itself. The issue of custody. Saylor has basically refused to publicly detail where or how Strategy holds its massive stash. He cites security reasons, which, okay, maybe makes sense from a corporate perspective, but he also rejected calls for proof of reserves.
Proof of reserves, that's like an audit to show you actually have the crypto you say you have, right?
Precisely. And rejecting that, well, it put him under fire last year.
Yeah.
Because it bumps up against a really core idea in Bitcoin, self-custody, the whole not your keys, not your coins principle.
Right, the idea that you should hold your own Bitcoin, not trust a third party. I remember he got some heat for suggesting people should trust banks initially.
He did. There was significant community backlash because that suggestion seemed to contradict the whole point of Bitcoin for many people getting away from reliance on banks and intermediaries. Interestingly, he actually walked that back a bit later. In October 2024, he clarified his stance, saying he supported self-custody for those willing and able.
Willing and able. That's a slight nuance. But it does show how powerful that be your own bank idea still is, doesn't it? That even someone like Saylor had to kind of adjust his messaging.
Absolutely. It shows those foundational principles are still deeply ingrained in the community.
Right.
Self-custody isn't just like a feature. For many, it's the reason Bitcoin exists, to cut out the middleman. So his reversal, yeah, it highlights how central that idea remains. You could feel that energy at the BTC Prague event, too, where he made this big prediction.
And that brings us back to the event. Was that self-custody theme prominent there? What were people saying?
Definitely. Danny Sanders, he's the chief commercial officer at Trezor. They make hardware wallets and were a main sponsor. He talked about this. He said BTC Prague keeps drawing a, quote, strongly Bitcoin-focused crowd, and that most attendees were deeply engaged with the future of Bitcoin.
Engaged.
Well, Sanders mentioned Trezor saw over 5,000 visitors at their booth. He described it as a vibrant mix of developers, Bitcoiners, and newcomers. And the key thing, they were all genuinely interested in open source tools and the principles of self-custody.
Okay, so for you listening, it's pretty clear this core idea, owning your digital assets directly, being independent, it's not going away. Even as big players like Strategy get involved, that principle of decentralization, of self-sovereignty, it's still a really vital discussion point.
Yeah, so just to kind of wrap up what we've covered in this deep dive, Michael Saylor's out there with this, frankly, mind-blowing $21 million Bitcoin forecast for 2046. He's justifying it by pointing to what he sees as totally unexpected, massive shifts in the political and regulatory landscape, especially in the U.S. Meanwhile, his own company, Strategy, keeps buying up huge amounts of Bitcoin.
Which then circles back to that fundamental tension, right? Between this growing institutional involvement and the core Bitcoin ethos of self-custody, of being your own bank, that's still so important to the community.
Exactly. It sets up a fascinating dynamic.
It really does. So here's something to think about as we finish up. If these big political and legislative shifts Saylor is talking about do continue, if Bitcoin gets more, let's say, official adoption, how does that change the whole be your own bank idea? Does it challenge it? Does it evolve it? What kind of new questions does that level of mainstream acceptance bring up for, the future of decentralized finance? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.